Hi everyone, this is Donna Imson. So glad that you picked up this DVD of mine because what I'm sharing in this video is something that I feel is a very important topic that networkers need to hear and keep hearing, and more importantly is practice. Why relationships? Relationships are really the only thing that matters. After all of the money that we've earned, the possessions that we've acquired, the experiences that we've lived out, ultimately, none of these will comfort us or console us or even be there for us. At the end of the day, it's only the relationships that we build in our lifetime that matter. And it's the only thing really that becomes our lasting legacy that can outlive our lifetime. And therefore, as networkers and entrepreneurs who want to build something that lasts, it's important that we learn this topic. It's important that we live out this topic and become successful in building relationships. So here goes. I hope you learn a thing or two.
In networking, your job as an upline begins once you've completed the sale. Yes, there is a sale of a product. Are you with me? Yes, you're selling the opportunity because guess what? The business opportunity is also your product. Are you with me? And just like any other product, ours is not the only business opportunity out there. Correct? But we believe that ours is one of the best, if not the best, opportunity out there. So we do sell the opportunity as well. But the biggest difference is that what happens after they've signed up? What happens after they've purchased the product? Once you sign somebody up, that's when your work begins. That's when your work as an upline begins. Your biggest challenge, your biggest barrier to success will now lie in the area of how you manage, how you relate with your people. Because your people are your biggest resource. Are you with me? The people you bring in are your biggest resource, okay? So there are three things I want to just quickly share with you tonight, okay? When it comes to really improving your ability and improving your relational skills, okay? Are you ready? Okay, three things we need, guys, okay? One, the first thing we need, we all need to have a networker's head. We need to learn how to understand people. As a networker, develop the skill of understanding people. Understanding, okay, their strengths. Understanding their, interests. Because each person is unique. Each person is different. You cannot treat each person in your organization the same way. I have 3 children, okay? And as you know, as you can see, because I'm already a grandmother, my children are already grown, okay? My youngest daughter, Lali, is 18. My eldest daughter, Karel, is 23. Matty, whose daughter you just saw on the screen, is 22. But they've got 3 very distinct personalities. And I remember when I was bringing them up, when they were still kids, I would make the mistake of trying to treat them the same way. And I would always end up having a very big problem. My kids used to love to compare and complain. And, they get exactly the same toy, except it comes in 3 different colors. What happens? What happens? They still fight. Why? Because somebody says, I like the red one. Correct? I like the green one. Correct or not? Until finally, I had to just basically reorient and really just stop and basically tell my children, guys, I'm never ever going to be able to treat you the same way. So that's a fact. Accept it, live with it. There are times when, your sister's going to get something that you're not going to get. And that's because she needs that and you don't need it. As a leader, as a networker, you need to have the ability to understand the interests, the strengths, the goals, the dreams, the needs, the motivations of your people. Because it is only once you understand those that you will know how to relate with them, that you will know how to communicate with them. Okay? Now, I'm a person who really gets motivated with helping people. I have made decisions in the past where I have been cheated by people simply because my desire was to help, did not think about the consequences, did not think about the ramifications, did not study the facts and the figures, did not really think about whether I was protecting myself or not, and therefore, because my motivation is to help people. Correct? How many of you agree with me? If you came up to me with an offer based on money, that's not something that I'm going to necessarily pay attention to. Because my motivation is to help. Are you with me? There are people who get motivated by facts and figures. If I talk to you and your motivation is facts and figures, and I start talking to you about helping people, about saving the world, are you going to get excited? No way. You want facts. You want figures. You want proof. You want... Seeing is believing. Is there something wrong with them for wanting that? No, because that's who they are. That's how they are. How can you relate well with your people if you don't even know what motivates them? Hello? This is a business that depends on the quality of relationships that you will have with your people. You want a successful business? Have successful relationships. Let me say that again. You want a successful business? Have successful relationships. To have successful relationships, you need to start by learning to understand your people. Not letting them understand you, but you understanding your people. Is there any benefit to you that you can see if you took the time over a cup of coffee, over a cup of tea, to start asking your downline, to start asking your people, what do you like to do on your spare time? If you had, the weekend off, what would you do with that weekend? Are you with me? What's your job? Oh, I'm an accountant. What do you like about that job? Would there be any benefit to you to start asking these questions? Hello? Do you even ask these questions? I think one of the things that has happened in the 21st century, because of all of the speed of things, we've gotten so used to having things fast, right? Even in Uganda, okay, that's changing. Sometimes we fail to already ask questions, and we fail to engage people and go beyond the normal, how are you? Have a networker's head. Understand people. Whether that's your prospect, your downline, your upline. Whether that's your wife, your husband, your child, your neighbor, your boss. Learn the skill of understanding people, understanding where they come from, understanding what makes them tick, understanding their fears, understanding their, insecurities. That's number one. Number two, have a networker's heart. Learn how to love people. Learning how to love people means being secure enough in yourself, loving yourself enough that you can love others, that you can serve others. Does that make sense? Hello? Does that make sense? Having a networker's heart and succeeding in this regard is learning how to love yourself so that you could love others and serve them. Nothing inspires loyalty. Nothing inspires trust and confidence more than when people know you care for them. Are you with me? I know that this business is all about financial freedom. We talk about financial freedom. We talk about time freedom. We talk about the freedom, that we'd like to be free from our boss, to be free from debt, to be free from worrying about what's going to happen to our children, to be free from, thinking about where to send our children to university and how we can afford to send them to university, to be free from the anxiety that people feel whenever they open the newspaper or watch CNN and hear about the economic crisis. Are you with me? There is nothing as precious a commodity as freedom. Correct or not? But the freedom I'm talking about here today is the freedom that comes from inside. The freedom that's not determined by who you're with, by what you do, by your circumstances, but the freedom that comes from being secure in who you are, being secure and confident about your purpose in life, being secure in knowing you are where you need to be. But that freedom can only grow when we express it in love. Because how can you know you're truly free? How many of you here want to be free? How can you know that you're truly free? How can you know that you are living a life of freedom? It's very simple. The way to know that you're living a life of freedom is if you have the ability to love. Because you cannot truly love unless you are free. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Because, let me think about it, right? You encounter a downline who tells you they're serious about the business, right? They want to be successful in the business. They're going to attend the meeting. They're going to make their 15 presentations a month, correct? And so here you are, you devote your time to train them. You make sure that, of all of your, in your busy schedule, that you set aside time for them, right? Come Saturday, your appointed time to meet so you can train them, what happens? They don't show up. Correct? Correct? So you call them, they tell you, "Oh, I'm really, really sorry. It was raining so hard. I was not able to get my husband was not able to wake up early, could not bring me. My children, started fighting, and there was a big commotion at home. For whatever reason, they weren't able to show up. But I'm really serious about this business." Yeah? So you said, okay, next Saturday. Same thing happens. They don't show up again. What do you start to think? Every Saturday, for 4 consecutive weeks, you make sure, right, that you're there, you sacrifice your time, you say no, okay, to a lot of things just so you could be there. And yet your downline doesn't show up. Doesn't even have the decency to call you. Doesn't even tell you, SMS you, text you. Does not even say sorry. What do you do? What do you do? How can you know you're truly free? You know you're truly free if you, despite the hurt, the pain, right? Despite the disappointments, that you can still, in your mind at the very least, or in your heart, bless that person. Not hold any grudges about, towards that person. Not feel any ill will towards that person. That's how you know you're truly free. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Now, I'm not saying that you continue to allow these persons to abuse you. Are you with me? I'm not saying you continue to allow them to stand you up, not show up for your appointments, and you just say, "It's okay," right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, being free can only be expressed by showing love. Having a networker's heart is all about loving people. So no matter what happens, guys, okay, people will stay with you. People will stick with you. People will trust you and listen to you, not because you're the upline. Hello? Sometimes we get so stuck with this title, "I'm the upline." Right? And because I'm the upline, you must listen to me. Because I'm your upline, you must follow me. Maybe in the start they'll do that. But if you want them to stay with you, then you must go beyond relating with your people based on your position as upline, and now relating with them based on love and respect. Does that make sense? Networker's heart. Finally, to succeed in this business, we need to have, number one is, what's number one? A networker's head. Number two, a networker's heart, right? And number three, a networker's hand. You must learn how to help people. Help people. Help them succeed. Help them by adding value to them. Your people must be different. If you were to compare your people from the time they signed up to today, whether it's only been a day, a week, a year, they must be different today than how they were, who they were when they first signed up. Are you with me? There must be that difference, not just in commission checks. They must have felt and they must feel and see a difference in the way they think, the way they talk, the way they act. For you to consider yourself successful as a networker, that difference must be there. Have a networker's hand, helping them learn. How to be uplines. 3 years. How much time are you devoting to helping your people? And then you come and say, oh, Donna, you know what? I have a very big problem with my people. They just don't want to listen. They're too hard-headed. They don't follow instructions. Do you know the fastest way to gain influence with your people? Fastest way to be able to influence your people is solve a problem for them. Be a problem solver. Solve one problem for them. And I'll tell you, that by itself increases your ability to influence that downline of yours, or that upline, or your brother, or your neighbor. You want to reach out to people? Solve a problem for them. You're running out of prospects? Solve a problem for people. Make a difference. It doesn't have to be a big problem. It can be a small one. Let's say your neighbor, okay? It's your neighbor's wife's birthday. They've got 2 kids, and they don't have anyone to leave the children to. But the husband wants to take the wife out for a date for dinner. Offer to take care of the 2 children for a couple of hours. Would that solve a problem for them? Did that cost you anything? Not really. Right? But do you think now that that your neighbor will listen to you more the next time? Of course. Solve a problem. Have the hand of a networker. Help people. Add value. Make a difference in their lives. Now here's the thing, guys. The only way you can make a difference, and I'd like to really start closing with this one. The only way that you can really make a difference, the only way that you can really add value to people is if you have something to add from yourself. Correct or not? If you don't have anything inside of you to give, what can you give? If you yourself are not changing as a person, if you yourself are not improving as a person, if you yourself are the same person today as a person who signed up in QuestNet a year ago, do you think you're really going to be able to sign people up? Do you even think that the people who already signed up under you will stay with you?